Welcome to the Trill and BA Show. I'm your host, Felicia Ann Rose, Anuha, aka the trillest MBA you will ever know. And I'm here to help you survive and thrive in corporate America by giving you the truth and being as real as only I can be. Happy Sunday, you guys. Welcome back to the show. This week is also going to be another short episode. This is a follow-up episode. So, I'm doing these episodes for two reasons. One, I have more to say when I think back on the things I've said. But then two, if I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, things have gotten really, really busy. And so there's so much I want to say and so much I want to share, but I have to wait to share things. So in the meantime, in between time, and when I am out of time to make longer form episodes, I still have all these things on my mind about episodes I've already created. So that's why I'm doing these follow-up episodes. They'll be few and far in between is my hope. But until further notice, this episode is following up on an episode remix. So I did an episode in season 2 before Chris started working with me. And then I had Chris remix it and sound design it and make it sound really good. But this is one of the most downloaded episodes of our podcast, The Trill and BA Show. And it's about likability. So the original episode title was Fuck Your Likability, Just Be Your Black Ass Self. In this conversation, Tiffany and I really break down this hardship about being likable and relatable in the workplace. And the reason why I wanted to take some time and follow up to this topic and conversation is because of the other episode I recently did about code switching and the code switching conundrum and how do you navigate that at work. And I forgot in both episodes to connect the dots between likability and code switching. And that's what I want to follow up on today. So here's the real problem and conundrum, right? It's not the fact that we code switch. Everybody code switches. And it's not the fact that we shouldn't worry about who likes us. We actually need people to like us in the workplace in order to build our influence and our ability to navigate and get things done. Because when people don't like you, they won't help you. And you need people to help you get your job done in the workplace. So that's the whole conundrum. On top of, as the others in the office, in offices that are white male dominated in corporate America. So remember, this system was never built for us. There was never an idea or construct when all these rich white men, descendants of slave owners, were building these corporations and creating these behemoth companies. They never had any intention to have any of us educated Negroes in any of their office spaces. That was never the plan. The plan was to make themselves and their lineage and the people they like and people who look like them, people they're comfortable with, make money. That's always the goal of a company in this country, is to make money. And they can try to say, oh no, we have this mission and purpose and all these things. But if it's a publicly traded company, the goal is to create shareholder value. And in order to create shareholder value, you have to make money. The company has to be profitable. Now, what is my advice for us in navigating spaces that we were never meant to be in? A couple things I want to follow up with. Number one, I want us to start to get a sense of confidence and instill that deep within ourselves. We really need to do our work. I think every Black person in corporate America should be in the therapist's office, because these spaces can be and are oftentimes highly traumatic for us. When you have to deal with a constant diminishing of your work and of yourself, especially when we're taught to see our work output as an extension of our actual being. This is a narrative that many of us carry. It's a story that a lot of us have been taught and continue to tell ourselves. So when you are subjected to the system of work that has been built in this country, you have to be in therapy to process everything that's going on and happening to you. And I'm not just talking about the microaggressions. I'm not talking about the misspelling your name in email. That's my biggest pet peeve one. I hate that. That drives me nuts, because you see my name, and because we are coworkers, I am to assume that you hold a level of competence that would allow you to read my name that you typed to email me and then see how it's spelled and then write it correctly when you say, "Hi, Felicia." Or sometimes it's just Felicia. There's no salutation, which in itself is a bit dehumanizing. So it's these little, deaths by 1,000 cuts that if we aren't careful and be mindful to take care of our mental health in these spaces, we can find ourselves in some very dark places. And we don't want that. We deserve better. But in order to have better, the onus is actually on us. And so number one, every Black person should be in therapy. If you work in corporate America, or if you're just subjected to America. Do your work, guys. In therapy, you should get coping mechanisms and things that you can do to reassure yourself, to stand on your own confidence internally, regardless of what happens outside of you. You have to shore yourself up in these spaces. So please, please, please go to therapy. So that's number one. Number two, you have to really work to fit in to the culture that you're in, even though it was never meant for you. This is going to make your life easier when you work to fit in. So what does fitting in mean? So listen, the thing is, what's very hard is that we're working with people who like to act oblivious to the lives we live as Black people. And the lives we live as Black people, honestly, a lot of us are just living pretty regular lives. I mean, we go to work, we go home, we have family, kids, whatever. We go do entertainment things, and, we get our paychecks, we pay our bills. We're just surviving like everybody else. But there's a nuance in the way we do things and how we show up when we're not at work, right? Like, there's a fun and a deep love, and there's a cultural just magic. And I hate to say magic because I don't want to diminish our humanity and make it seem like we're otherworldly or what have you. But to be Black at times feels really magical, right? Especially when you connect with someone you don't know very well, but there's just a shared knowledge and language and knowing, a deep knowing and understanding of another Black person that just feels good, I think, because it feels like home, right? And that's something that they experience, but because their culture, they have been commoditized. We see them everywhere. We know all about them. We know all about their nuances. Like everyone knows about them because they have built a world in a context around them and who they are and how they operate, right? And so we have to know that. We're forced to know that. It's in our TV, it's in our media, it's in everything we consume. It's all around us. The lives of white people are all around us. They have made themselves the standard, which they are not, which there is no standard because we're all human. We're all the standard. But here we are. And so what that means is when we then come into the workplace and we have to communicate with people who are not Black, we have to find a common platform to communicate on. And that common construct or platform is the construct of whiteness. And so what that means is that now we've had to assimilate in some ways from the person and the culture that we relish in outside of work. This is how we become relatable. And you have to be relatable in order to communicate effectively. People have to get a sense that they understand you. They also have to feel a sense of trust, that they trust what you're saying. And so this is why this becomes a conundrum, a difficult pickle, a rock in a hard place, if you will. Because if we were to stand in our full authenticity, if I was to be my Black ass self at work, I wouldn't quite be understood. And because we have built a workplace that dictates that it is not on the organization to understand us, but it is up on us to understand the organization. And we have been taught that we need to fall in line to be successful. This is the situation we're in. This is what it is. I don't believe this is right. I don't believe we as human beings should be doing this to ourselves, but I don't know exactly what the solution is outside of me starting my own company, hiring all kinds of people and letting them be who they are. That in policy, that it is okay to speak in whatever language, vernacular, English, as long as you effectively and efficiently communicate between each other and you as human beings, one-on-one, find a common ground of language that both can understand, and that happens at the individual level, then until I build that company out and you can come work for me, in order to survive in these workplaces and these constructs of work that we have now, we really have to be mindful and smart and strategic about our communication style, and how we are showing up in this space in order to cut down on distractions from the points that we need to get across and we need to influence the people that we work with. So I say all that to say, this is why code switching is necessary for us in surviving these spaces, because it is about communicating for impact, not about denying or diminishing us as the human beings we have been shaped into by the culture that has grown us, or diminishing our humanity in any way. It is literally about survival. So I don't want people to take away that my advice is to be somebody that you're not. My advice is to communicate for the highest impact. And in order to do that, sometimes in the workplace, we have to speak in a language and in a way, and we have to show up in a manner that is received in the dominant culture that we are subjected to at the workplace. So I hope that makes sense. That's my follow-up to not just this likability conversation. And if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's a great conversation and it's a lot to think about. I think for me, I have just always just wanted to be my Black ass self. That's how I articulate it. That's what feels good to articulate. That's how I want to explain who and how I want to show up. I just want to be able to use words the way that my spirit would like to use words and not be concerned or overly concerned about how you're going to receive those words. Because at the end of the day, you know what the fuck is coming out of my mouth.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You understand what I'm saying. It just might not feel good to you, or you just might not receive it in a way that makes you feel good. I think at the end of the day, I'm tired of being concerned about the feelings of others over my own feelings. However, what I have learned is in order to survive in the workplace, I need to be concerned with how my words land on people, how my words make people feel, because that is a direct impact to the level of likability that I am building in the construct of the workplace. And so for me, therapy is an outlet where I process and I get to be my Black ass self. This podcast is a place where I process and I get to be my Black ass self. And I get to help you think through how to manage this duality that we have to live in, because it's not natural. So again, I say these things aren't right. They're not okay. They're diminishing to our humanity, but I need my paycheck. And that's the real conundrum. So I hope this all makes sense, and I hope it's very clear on where I stand on code switching, where I stand on likability. It is a personal choice, guys. And it is okay to choose not to play this game. Not to play these workplace reindeer games is perfectly fine. But the reality is, if you want to move up and into more leadership positions, you have to continuously pick yourself apart and fine-tune how you're showing up. And you have to be intentional and deliberate on how you show up in the workplace. In order to climb, that has to be something that you focus on continuously. And the reason why you should do it, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get out of here. The reason why you should do it is because if we can get a number of us in these higher positions where we do have influence, where we are able to make decisions, we then create the ability to make space for diversity, not just with our own presence, but we bring people along with us. Studies have shown when there are women and people of color in higher level leadership positions, their teams and their departments are more diverse. There's more opportunity created for everyone when we elevate diverse professionals of color. So, guys, it is important that many people keep climbing, keep fighting to get into those roles where you get to shape and build the teams, where you get to make that change. Oh, and by the way, when you do, the company actually makes more money. That's been proven as well. So it should be a win-win, but it's very clear that this country is racist and the way it operates is systemic. I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear, but we've been racist for so long. It's so ingrained in the systems that we've put into place that it hurts to hear that we are racist. It hurts to hear that we do things systemically and systematically to keep people of color, especially Black women, out of positions and out of rooms that would actually help the company make more money. We are in a place now in our country where we actually know better, and we are still okay with cutting our nose off to spite our face. So, what do we need to do? Keep fighting for your promotions. Keep fighting for your money. Keep fighting. And I promise to continue to work to bring you tips, tricks, and tactics that will help make the fight easier and help make your life easier. Because we shouldn't endure suffering in the name of a paycheck. That's not okay. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great week. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, you need some help or advice about a specific situation, go to trillandba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute consultation with me to strategize and walk through your specific work situation. In addition, you can always email me at ask@trillandba.com. I'm happy to either answer your question or connect you to the right person if I don't have the answer. And guys, I don't always have all the answers. Again, that's trillandba.com/coaching to schedule a 45-minute consult with me. Or you can email us at ask@trillandba.com to submit your question, your concern, your listener letter. I am so excited about getting these listener letters, guys. Keep them coming. We're going to start reading listener letters on the show here soon. We're working on that segment now. So send your listener letters in. And until next time, guys, keep it trill. The Trill and BA Show is a Fair World Corp. LLC production. Executive produced by Felicia and Rose Inuha. Sound design and editing by Chris Mann with Podshaper. Theme music is Kick Push by Ryan Little. Keep it trill every day, y'all.